Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. We've been waiting for the final entry in the Mission Impossible series, although I kind of doubt that. With this movie, I mean, it's technically part 2 of Dead Reckoning. Part 1 originally. They ended up changing the name. They ended up going back, reshooting a whole bunch of stuff. I even remember seeing stunts being filmed that aren't in this movie. So they really did kind of change things up a little bit. I don't know if it was to engage the audience a little bit more because part 1 I don't think did as well as they were hoping it would do. So they ended up going back to the drawing board and tried to figure out a way that they could give us a movie that is the ultimate Mission Impossible film. And I think they tried to do that, but it ended up being a generic Michael Bay action movie more so than it was a Mission Impossible movie. Now, granted, McQuarrie did it, not Michael Bay, but it's kind of hard to tell while you're watching it.
Yeah, it did kind of have like its own tone to it that we didn't get from some of the other Mission Impossible movies. It felt almost kind of like, how can we create something that like puts a nice little bow on this story, but also kind of say thank you to the franchise as a whole? And I feel like they kind of tried to rush some things. Like there was so much stuff that was like kind of jam-packed in this movie that it kind of gave me whiplash when they like slowed down and then they started back up again and they kind of slowed down too. And then I will say there is a lot of like trying to catch people up on certain things, almost to the point where it was like, if you have not seen any of the other movies, that's okay. You could still kind of watch this one and kind of get the gist of all the other movies packed into this one.
And at first, they give you a little recap in the beginning, a pretty fulfilling recap in case you don't remember part 1, which I turned over to our buddy Tim and I said, oh, I really needed that because I've only seen the first of the 2, the final, Dead Reckoning one time in the theater, and I enjoyed it. I love Esai Morales, so I was like really excited for, getting the complete story. But I leaned over to Tim and I said, oh, thank God they gave us a recap because I really needed it because I don't remember. Then they proceed to recap essentially multiple times every Mission Impossible movie as the movie's going on.
Right. In my head, I was thinking, oh, we're getting a clip show because there was a lot of moments where it was like putting stuff in from the other movies, which is fine. But I feel like it didn't. This movie didn't trust the audience enough to recognize certain things. And they kind of had to like hold our hand as we were watching the movie, which I get that at times it does help with, understanding what the story is going for. But some of us who know or remember some of the movies is kind of like, okay, cool, but let's continue on with the story at hand.
And when I say it feels Michael Bay's films really have a tendency to rush through a lot. You fly through exposition, you fly through explanation of what's going on in the scenes. They start with a sweeping establishing shot mixed in with somebody talking about something, little info in the corner of where you are. Then the conversation continues somewhere down the line doing something else with somebody else, explaining more things. Then it shifts back over and we're already on the other side of the country, and it does it for like the first half of the movie. Then, like you said, it does slow into, okay, now we're going to enter one of our crazy action set pieces. And with the set pieces, there was some amazing visuals that do happen, nail-biting moments, very stressful, but at the same time, there were multiple moments where like we felt, get on with it. You're doing too much. Do less. I felt like Paul Rudd in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. No, you're doing too much. Do less.
The less you do, the more you do.
I did enjoy some of the moments too where it was like, okay, you got your jam-packed action moments. You've got like the nail biters. Like I was like all into it. And then it got to the point with the threshold where, like you said, they were doing too much. It was like, oh, so there's another obstacle that is in his way when we just had another obstacle that just happened like 2 seconds ago. Like give this man a break a little bit through this one sequence. And I was just, and then it kept happening. And I was like, okay, Like, let's just continue on with this story.
It felt like Final Destination, like the Grim
Yeah,
Reaper
a
really
little
had it
bit.
out for Ethan Hunt and
Yeah.
will not let him get through these situations. And it did get ridiculous. That's the thing about this movie. It does feel ridiculous many times over the course of the almost 3 hour runtime.
Yeah. I did like some of the aspects of the human elements of the story, going on about like what would you do in the crisis of humanity being on the line, and kind of having your finger on the trigger, and it was like, do you act on it, or do you put your faith in humanity, or you put your faith in the fact that we're all going to come together to save the world, instead of somebody like getting too anxious and then destroying the world there. So I did like that aspect of the movie itself, but then at sometimes too, I didn't really care for the whole AI thing as well.
So yeah, if you ended up watching part one of Dead Reckoning or Final Reckoning, I don't even remember. Dead Reckoning was the first part. You know, we're going up against the entity, which is essentially Eagle Eye, aka WarGames, aka just anytime Skynet. I mean, it's very Skynet in this movie as well. So that really does kind of take away the grounded feel for this thriller, and does kind of put it into something that could very much be a reality, but at the same time, like I said, now where it feels like we're playing in the Terminator films. So, but when it came down to like them trying to really get you invested in these characters, sometimes it feels like the drama goes into levels of soap opera. And it's like, wow, you are really trying to make me feel something in this moment. Like it goes from like, oh, we're joking, into very dread and serious and very, wants to be emotional, but it didn't work on me. It just felt like it didn't earn the emotional moments, where now we're just going through it and like, okay, I'm supposed to feel emotion for this character, but this character really is just a side character that I don't even think I've seen before, but now I should feel very emotional for them. I did it. Even though I love the actor, but it's just like, oh, you're in this? Okay. Oh, you're getting a big moment like this? Oh, that came out of nowhere, but okay, yeah, all right. Well, I feel bad for you. Sorry. But when it comes down to it, like, it's about your core, it's about your team. Losing Rebecca, it kind of feels like there's a piece of the team missing. And now, you know, as much as I love her, we replaced her with Haley. And I don't know, man. It felt like it was forced. Like it felt like she's forced in this movie, even though we got her integration in the last movie. It just didn't feel like she was part of the team.
Yeah,
So
she did great in the movie, but it was just like, for as much as she had a part of this role, but like you said, it did kind of feel like, well, we lost Rebecca, so let's go ahead and make sure that we have this replacement here too.
and it just felt like that connection with Ethan all of a sudden. And it's like, well, okay, I know you guys are kind of flirty and stuff, but
Yeah, but there was, it's just,
they brought an emotional connection to it that I just felt like wasn't there. If anything, Ethan should have had one more with Benji than he should have had with her, just with, you know, how much they've gone through. But drama aside, the comedy was pretty funny. I like some moments, although there are some weird, like, sticky choices that they make, where like fairly early on too, where it's like, okay, that's weird. Like the tonal shift, like you said, it has its own tone, but the tonal shift goes from like these weird comedic moments to very dramatic moments, where the good balance is in the middle, where we've gotten that from Mission Impossible before, where Benji does say something funny to everybody and there's a fun reveal. But with this one, it did feel like we were kind of all over the place tonally. And it did feel like in those action sequences, they were overindulging themselves just to showcase. A lot of times I'm sitting there looking at my fake watch and going like, are we supposed to save the world? Don't we have 20 seconds? Why are y'all just standing around having these lengthy dialogues and doing these crazy stunts forever, where it's just clearly you're trying to just showcase the stunt? You're not really doing a whole lot, and the time should have run out already. Are we getting to save the world? That happened like 3 times where I'm like, why are you guys still talking? There's like 20 seconds. Let's go. But other than that, though, the threat is very real, and there's some really cool espionage spy moments. I was very hopeful for Isai Morales' character. I really wanted a lot from him in this one because it was his second his second chance to really shine. And he does show up, but he shows up more of like a Roger Moore James Bond villain. Even, when it comes down to it, I do feel like they kind of shit on his character in the end a little bit.
They do a little bit, and then it kind of feels like it was a second thought, like come along, second thought. Like I don't know. It just didn't feel like they fleshed him out a little too like at all, and it did very much feel like they were trying to like imitate a James Bond villain in his character, and at some points it was very comical that it took me out of the movie a little bit just thinking about it like makes me want to laugh again, because it's like okay, sure,
let's just say the last thing that he does in the movie is like Vanessa was cracking up.
Cracking so like a lot, to the point it did take me out of the movie, and then it brought it back to reality there, and then that you have like serious moments, and then they have comical moments in those serious moments again. So yeah, I mean, I like, don't get me wrong, I had fun watching the movie. There wasn't really a whole lot of time where I was like okay, like I got other things better to do. Like I enjoyed it, but it could have been tighter.
Overstuffed.
It could have been tighter. They could have tightened it up a little bit more.
And then they don't do flashbacks for a long time. I was like, okay, cool. Like it's done. And then it's like, boom, they go back to the flashbacks again. And you're like, well, wait, what? I thought this was over. Like giving us all the exposition dumping. And like you said, it felt like afterthought. There's some character reveals, backstory reveals that 100% feel like, you know what? We should probably make this a connection to a past Mission Impossible. And then it does not feel earned. It feels awkward. There's like this last little handshake, hug sort of thing that happened. And you're like, what? Yeah. Why are we doing this again? Like you're just kind of making something out of nothing. But okay, Tom Cruise consistently has his shirt off. Always trying to find always a way to get your shirt off. It felt like, Tim Allen in Galaxy Quest, or Jason always finding a way to get his shirt off. And Tom Cruise, multiple times this dude is in his boxers and nothing else. Like 6-7 times. It happened. A lot of running as well.
Like it almost felt like Tom Cruise had to prove himself.
Yeah,
in
like
the
he's
movie,
trying
like
to.
He was like trying to prove that, like, and it's like, no, you don't have to.
Bro,
prove.
you don't need to run that
like,
far. Get in the
you're
car.
Good. Like you're Ethan Hunt. Like like it's good. You're cool. Yeah.
Overindulgent.
But at the end of the day, if like I had fun.
Sure.
It was okay.
It's not my favorite.
It's
at the bottom of the barrel, though.
It's in my bottom 3 for Mission Impossible movies.
I'd have to say it's probably my third worst out of all the Mission Impossible
it is my
movies.
Third worst of all the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah,
too.
that says something. But granted, everybody is different. My favorite is the first and the original Mission Impossible because of the betrayal and backstabbing and how we don't know what the hell is going on because they don't hold your hand whatsoever. And they even explain things that are incorrect. Ethan says the wrong things while they show you what really happened. So it's so confusing, but it was perfect. It was amazing. It was intricacy. It was layered. And that's just not how this movie was.
Yeah, my favorite is Rogue Nation out of all of the Mission Impossible movies. And this one does land itself number 3 out of all of them. So, hey, if you like it, enjoy it, go out and see it for, it's a popcorn flick and you can watch it at the movies or not watch it at the movies.
Lauren Balfe did the score once again. And, yeah, I mean, not much has changed in like the last 3 or 4 Lauren Balfe scores, unfortunately. And I was paying attention.
It was the same.
It was the same.
Yeah.
They hit all the same notes. But either way, are you excited about Mission Impossible? Which movie is your favorite? out of the Mission Impossible movies, tell us down in the comment section below. You can also like and subscribe.
And did a thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Discord.
All the social networking gin joints, so you know where they are. Kick into the party, fuel the party, keep the party going on our Patreon, as well as in the member section on our YouTube channel. Be on the lookout for our reactions to the finale of Andor. Last 3 episodes are coming, or already came if you're watching this one. We're working through them right now. But thanks so much, and as always,
Now it's time to say goodbye.
this party is over.
Bye.
Bye.